Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. So, yesterday, I got started on the bangs. I got the tips pretty much done. I think they still look pretty okay. Yeah, I see a little bit that I want to touch up over here, but nothing serious. And today I just plan to continue working my way up and maybe starting a little bit on this underneath part. Just the same routine at this point. Gone through 2 of the corners and now there's just 2 left to do. So just gotta go through all the steps until it's finally all finished. Yesterday I had a bit of time and Golan finally reached 80% compliance with me, so I figured I guess it's time to do her interrogation, since she would not be gaining any further compliance until I did so. And I liked hers, it was pretty cute. The ending was nice of, yes, if you are not strong enough, it is okay to ask people that are stronger to help you out. All is well, just do your best. And getting their help does not necessarily mean you are taking advantage of them. So, I liked it. She's a fun character. The difference in her demeanor from the first part to the second part was pretty funny. Where she's acting all prim and proper at first, and then the mask comes down very quickly. So I think I'd rate hers as one of the better ones. Both an interesting idea and a fairly good execution. Still need to go through and read more. Just haven't had a lot of time, and with another game that wants to probably suck up a bunch of my time coming out soon in Infinity Nikki, I will probably continue not to have very much time to actually go through the interrogations. I keep meaning to, but then I just keep drawing more stuff, and so I guess I'm okay with this. Worthy trade-off. Less time for video games, more time for art. Works out. Opportunity cost, how you make me so sad. Because alas, if I do one thing, I cannot be doing another thing. I continue to wish that there was more time to just do all the things. Honestly, prioritizing time is so hard. Gotta be ruthless with it. I do my best to be completely ruthless with it, which is why I don't do things like weed my yard. Too many things I want to do. I ain't got no time to just go weed the yard. They're just gonna grow back anyway. It's like, why? Why would I do that? but I guess more seriously. Prioritizing what to do very ruthlessly, I think, is important. Because I think it's easy to get caught up in things that you don't actually care about just because you think it's important to do, or other people have told you that it's important to do, and there's a degree of, I guess, performative interest in some things, and when the interest isn't actually there. I'm just like, man, if the interest isn't there, go do the things where the interest is there. Like for me, I'm sure this will change at some point, but occasionally I get ideas for games floating around in my head. Sometimes I'll even go and do a little bit of coding. Just go mess around with it. But frankly, I've just been 100 times more interested in art right now, so I always come back to just drawing stuff. And that's okay. It just means that I can't really focus as hard as getting good with programming if my current interest just lies elsewhere. It's not that I dislike programming or that I dislike game design or that I don't also want to do these things. It's just where my interest lies is somewhere else right now, so gotta prioritize ruthlessly. Can't do all the things. So I made my choice. I want to draw stuff. And make a move sometimes, because that's pretty cool. Okay, I think I've got a lot of the area around the color transition looking pretty good. I might still need to move some stuff around here and there, like, I'm not sure if this is quite right. But I think what I actually want to do, now that I've straightened up here a little bit, is I think I want to go in and look at these guys right there. Try to get some of this looking nice. I have been having quite a bit of trouble sleeping lately, so my brain is kind of all over the place, and I don't know. I'm early enough along in the process, and there's lots of things to work on and fix. So I'm pretty content just saying, you know what, brain, have at it. Go pick the area you want to work on, and we'll make it look nice. You change your mind in 5 minutes, we'll make that part look nice too. It's totally fine. So I guess my brain has decided that it wants to work on this part right here. I think it's okay. We can let it. Hold on, gotta tickle my throat here. One moment. Probably going to be getting a lot of those. I did some very extensive cleaning of my house yesterday, so kicked up a lot of dust in the process. Did not actually get around to wiping down the air filter, which is probably not helping with clearing out the dust. But yes, it is making me cough a bit. It's okay, it really needed to be done. It was a bit overdue for a good vacuum in that area. So much so that, man, this poor vacuum has seen some things now. I think it sucked something up and it got stuck. So I'm trying to figure out how to fix that. these are not issues I've had to deal with before. So I'm gonna have to figure that out. I have no doubt that I will. It's just a matter of finding the time to do so. But again, I've got too many things I want to do. That's why it took me so long to clean the floor. And man, I gotta say that doing a lot of extensive cleaning like that is really tiring. And it's using muscles in my legs that I never knew I had. So now my legs are just kind of sore today. It's funny because I have been doing a fair amount of getting out and walking. But apparently I'm using muscles that I do not use for just my basic walks. Because, oh man, my legs are very sore today. They're hurting a bit. It's okay, house is much cleaner than it was yesterday, and it's actually pretty nice. Once all the dust dissipates and gets filtered out, I think life will be pretty good. It was funny. I actually did think about just stopping and maybe doing half of it yesterday. Because I was getting pretty tired, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna do something nice for my future self. We're just gonna get all of that stuff up. And I'm glad I did. So to my past self from your future self, thank you for not giving up. It means I don't have to deal with it anymore, and that is also quite nice. It's one less thing I have to think about today. One less thing that I'll have to think about next week. So if you've got the energy, try doing something nice for your future self today. I am sure that they will appreciate it. And no matter how you feel about your past self or your future self, just remember that if you're there for them, they'll be here for you. Okay, got some of that straightened up. I don't think it looks quite right yet, but I do not think that I want to try to get it looking perfect until I get the side part of the bang looking very nice. So let's go ahead and do that now. I told you, my brain might be jumping around a bit today. That's fine. Art is not always an orderly process. Sometimes I see people that do things in roughly the same order every time. Like when it comes to anime art, I often see, okay, we sketch, and then we line art, and then we flat color, and then we shade, yada yada. And this has never been how I function. It's like you can look at any of the painting time lapses on my channel and see that I just kind of go. Just kind of get some of the ideas in my head down, try to make them real so this way I can actually take them from some kind of a nebulous, misty mindscape where nothing is real and everything is just my brain just assuring me that yes, this is a very cool thing. into something that actually exists in the world that I can actually see. And then from there, I just pick out the spots I don't like and I fix them. Over and over again until it's done. About the only kind of structure that I like to have is that once I kind of have the basic ideas down, I kind of do things the exact opposite way that a traditional painter would. In that I start from the foreground and work my way back. See, it's nice to work like that in digital, at least in my opinion. Because it means that you have to paint less of the background. And then I can just hide layers every time that something is looking a little bit weird and I need to see what's behind it in order to figure out what's wrong. This happens a lot when I draw people, for example. And I have, like, let's say, the character's torso and waist and stuff covered with clothes. There's something off about the way her waist is twisting or something like that. And I'm having a hard time pinpointing what the problem is. That's where it's nice to hide some of her clothing layers, so that this way I can get a better idea of the way her body is moving, and then draw the clothes more appropriately on top of that. That's a fairly simple one that comes up pretty often. Another one is when I'm working with, how to say it, a picture with a proper foreground. So there's, like, stuff in front of the character. Let's say there's a bush in front of the character. 'Cause I'm drawing something with a bush in front of the character right now. So that bush covers part of her body. And if something seems off about her proportions or just something in the way that she's moving or the way things are connecting, then I can hide that bush, see what's underneath, get a better look at the picture. Or not the picture, but the figure. Get a better look of what's going on there, how she looks, and what's broken. Because it's often a little bit easier to see when you can actually see the entire figure, as opposed to just part of it, as opposed to just, letting part of it being covered by a bush. And then I can work out whatever anatomy mistake or whatever's making the movement look stiff, or what have you. And then I can turn the bush back on and render from there. This is just a case of paying attention to the unseen parts. Because even if they're unseen, their presence within the world that you're creating exists to a degree. Like, we know that even if someone's body is covered by clothes, or if someone's arm is covered by a bush, that within the context of the world, that person probably has an arm. Like, it's still there in the context of the world. You're just not drawing it because it's covered by a bush. So it's important to keep in mind its presence and how it affects the rest of the figure and the world. Stuff like that. And sometimes it's just easier to figure out what's wrong if you take a look at what is underneath some of these layers covering things up, or if part of the character goes off the canvas. Of making the canvas a little bit bigger temporarily and then cropping it later. So that this way you can get a basic idea of what's going on off the canvas and how those little changes affect what is on the canvas. So even if you don't draw the legs, even if you're not drawing a full body character, you're likely implying that your character still has legs. They're just off screen. And those legs and how they're positioned still affect the movement of the character and all that stuff. So it's important not to forget them, even if you're not actively drawing them. Never forget these parts just because you can't see them right now. You're there. So right now I'm kind of trying to work on the outer contour of the bangs a little bit. Just the side over here, kind of where it connects to these underneath parts that I currently have hidden. Which is why her head looks a little bit funny right now, but you know, compared to some of the funny bald shapes that I've put Shalom through, this one's pretty tame. Can we even call this a funny bald spot? Right now I'm mostly focusing on getting it lined up with the left turn, because I feel like that's where most of the detail is. It's like if you look, it has this part, and then it's got a little bump and a little curl and all these interesting little bumps and shapes. So I'm kind of trying to mimic that. And then occasionally I'll slide over here to the lower head turn, just to make sure that I have some of these other shapes and stuff lined up vertically correctly, like the tip of this hair, and where it connects over here, this little strand and the highlight, and all of that stuff. I'm just making sure that it lines up vertically, so that this way I know that I have it all in the right place there. But in terms of the outer shape, I am much more focused on the left head turn for that, and how it aligns here. And I mean, so far so good. It just needs a little bit of time. A little bit of attention. Well, I just slowly get everything into place. It's the bangs. It's gonna take me a couple of streams to get this all looking right. I do feel like the bangs always take the longest. Especially the front one, and it has a very detailed mesh in it. I mean, it's just right there. Right in the middle. So as always, I do want to get it right. And then as I go away from the center, it takes less and less time. And it's okay. I don't mind taking my time. I've been having a good time working on this model. It's been quite the adventure. Gotta embrace that sense of adventure here. Can't be afraid of all the work that goes into all this stuff. Even if it does take a while. You know, I say this like it's a bad thing sometimes. But no, I've been having a pretty good time, and while I want to take a break from models after I finish this one and do some illustrations, I would like to do another model in the future. Possibly with official Path to Nowhere art, possibly my own art. I don't know yet. It's a mystery. I think I will leave that decision up to my future self. The future self that will actually be rigging it, as opposed to just kind of daydreaming about it in her head. Like, nothing in my head is real right now. It's just an idea. But the one that actually has to rig it, yeah. That's the one that should make this decision. Maybe the me of 1 year from now. We'll see how many illustrations I want to do before I jump back into another model. The other big thing going through my head a lot lately has been writing. I'm still kind of nurturing the comic idea that's been floating in my head. Unfortunately, my process is extremely chaotic and random. But I do feel like I'm making progress. But I do not even know how to begin describing how I feel like I'm making progress. It's like I just kind of often lay in bed or sometimes just start randomly typing things, depending on my mood, if I feel like writing it down or if I just want to think. And I just kinda think about it and hope some ideas kinda come to me. That's why I say that a lot of my process there is not very useful. I'm sure that there are lots of other people out there that could give way better writing advice than me at this point. Well, it's telling me is that with each little bit of progress I make is that I think I've got something good. I just gotta figure out how it all works. Put all the pieces together. I do not think I am... Actually, let me back up before I finish that statement. I've been also doing a lot of reading about writing, so I can try to figure out how the heck I'm actually supposed to do some of this stuff and make it all work. And there seems to be two classes of people when it comes to writing. The people that plan, and the people that make it up as they go. And I think I am firmly in the planning crowd. For as chaotic and spontaneous as my art process is, I'm finding it kind of difficult to do that with writing. I mean, to an extent, I think it's kind of the same way, but I don't know, I just don't feel like I can go about writing random scenes. I do sometimes, because it kind of helps get the ideas flowing, and I also like writing characters for no reason. It's fun. But in terms of actually writing a coherent story, I actually find it pretty difficult to just make it all up as I go. This surprised me a little bit. But thinking back on it, I think it does make sense with some personal beliefs I have when it comes to like role-playing and the like. And that one of my pet peeves with role-players was people that say that they like to explore their character through playing them, and I'm like, this is literally everyone. I cannot think of anyone that knows everything about their character just as they put together their character sheet. But, I think I'm realizing I might have been a little bit more organized and that I think a little bit more about these things, and I like to just have a very firm starting point before I dive too much into specific scenes and figuring out what to do. And so I get the feeling it's the same for my characters. I like to know a thing or two about them before I can really write them properly. So that's been interesting. Especially considering one of the reasons that I liked role-playing is because I found it very spontaneous. Very improvisational. So I was a little bit surprised to find that I am probably the type of person that would benefit greatly from fully outlining my story before I start going too deep into scenes. That's okay. That's just one of those things that I had to learn about myself. And now I know. I know a little bit more about myself than I did last month. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that's just one of those funny things about human nature is that we assume that we know a lot about ourselves. But I think we're actually pretty clueless. There's a lot that just does not enter our conscious mind. And some things that just kind of lay beneath the surface, just waiting to come out and be explored. And you're just like, man, I never even knew. Lately, I've been finding it tricky to find the balance between trusting myself and my own judgment and questioning my own perception. Because there's some times where I'm just like, man, I am just completely wrong about everything. And it's kind of funny. But I suppose that is the purpose of staying curious and looking at the world around you with that curiosity, instead of just assuming something. Look at it free of judgment. See what's actually there. Use those observation skills. The skills that are very important to develop if you ever want to be able to do art. And try to take an objective look at what's actually there, without applying any real qualities to it. No comparative qualities, no judgment. Just an acknowledgement of what is there. Alright, so now that I've made a lot of progress with the outer edge of the front bank here, I'm just going into this underneath spot and getting that to look kind of nice. So far I'm pretty happy with it. It's all kind of coming together, and it's coming together nice and easily now that I know what the front bang that's sitting on top of it looks like. So that's pretty nice. If you've watched any of the previous streams where I work on this area right there, you'll know that I can spend quite a long time just tweaking those little shadows and getting them just right. But I do think that they are a very important part of getting her hair to look correct. So I don't mind spending a bit of extra time on them. Probably go back to the front pig itself soon, though. Once again, I'm just kind of letting my brain do what it feels like today. Just letting it take a look and just go, wee. Have a good time. Not worry about it. Some days are very intense art days, and some days are pretty chill ones. And today's a pretty chill one, I think. Just gonna go in, do some basic stuff, and worry about the rest later. I do hope that my insomnia gets better, though. Oh man, I always feel like it's been catching up with me. There's just not a lot I can do about it. I don't really have a good chance to nap or anything. So if I don't get much sleep, then, well, that's that. Hopefully I sleep better the next night. Alright, I think I'm gonna go and do this little line that runs up here now. So I think he's actually pretty much in the right place. Just looking kind of ugly there. We don't really have to move this guy around. Just gotta get rid of all those uncomfortable looking crunchy spots. That's nice and easy to do. Just gotta straighten out those triangles. One by one, I'll get those triangles nice and straight. Looks like some of the vertices are a little bit unevenly spaced, so I might have to go back and fix those up. But for now, I'm just paying attention to that little shadow and trying to get its shape relatively rounded in place here. Yeah, there we go. Everything's looking much nicer now. Look at all those little crunchies just going away one by one. I think there's probably a few more still, but I want to take a look. Make sure that everything is still in place where I want it to be. Yeah, I think so. Perfect. I was afraid that I might have moved it around somewhat. But no, all is well. So let's go back in and finish making all these little vertices look nice. Now I can have some fun with the highlight. Oh yeah. Alright, and then just a little wavy spot right there that I think I want to fix up too. Don't need to be doing the wave in your hair. There we go. Man, it's amazing how that just small little difference can make such a big impact. It's that little shadow is deceptively important. Alright, let's work on the highlight a little bit. I feel like things are coming along pretty well today. Bang, I mean, it's always a little bit slow. But I feel like it's cooperating with me, and that makes me happy. Okay. Actually, before I go in and start moving things around, I want to plan my attack here. How exactly do I want to be doing things here? So I'm gonna go take a look at the movement between just her normal face and the down face. Man, I got that looking pretty good. Okay, I'm quite happy. So I can tell that I made the angle on the highlights. If you kind of view it as a line running through her hair like this. I made it a little bit steeper. So now it goes more like this. A little bit steeper. And over here, I kept it roughly the same, I suppose. So now I want it to come down here and be a little bit steeper. Which, yes, means that the highlight will be pointing kind of more downward. But I also kind of like the way I have it where this side is a little bit higher up. Okay, yeah, I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna have this side be just a little bit higher than this side. And I think that'll make for a pretty cool effect, once I get it just right. I don't think it needs to be that much higher, just a little bit. And kind of the same for lower down, where this side will be a little bit higher than this side. I just feel like it looks like the light is reflecting off her hair a little bit differently, and I think it looks cool. I like little effects like that. They make me happy. I just don't want to have the highlight here move downward a little too much relative to the downward head turn. So while I want this side to be a little bit higher, I don't want it to be that much higher. Just a very slight angle there. Same with the underside. Again, I don't want it to be too much. Don't want it to look like those highlights are squirming around. Just a little bit of movement to make it look like her head is turning a little bit. And here I'm worried more about vertical positioning, which is why I'm using the downward turn as my point of comparison instead of the leftward turn. I know it's hard to see, but each of these little changes is getting me a little bit closer to where I want to be. And I can see it. And that makes me happy. Man, lately I've been getting some ideas for speed paints that I want to try. I've been enjoying speed painting because it's a nice, quick way to kind of iterate on ideas and see what works and what doesn't. It's like I've been leaving it at just once a week, but with the amount of things that I want to try, I might end up doing a few more. We'll see. A lot of it comes down to is how much more serious stuff do I also want to paint. And right now I'm working on some gifts, so it'll be a little while before I have time to do some more speed painting, but I have ideas. Got so many ideas. Again, I just always find myself wishing that I had more time. Got too many things I want to do. Life is hard. It's so hard. And then my brain is just like, hey, I heard you didn't want to sleep. And I'm like, you know, true, but not like this. Because I don't want to sleep, but I have to. And life is even harder when I don't, so I don't appreciate my brain trolling me like this. It's being like a computer and just being way too literal and giving me what I'm asking for. See, what I really want is not to not sleep. It's a way where I don't need to sleep. That's what I actually want, brain. It's not insomnia. It's just a place where, you know, insomnia isn't a condition. Because it doesn't matter, because I don't need to sleep. That's what I really want. But alas, here I am. That's what's happening. Okay. I don't think it's quite there, but we're definitely getting somewhere. There's a surprising number of colors on this bang here. Let's just take a look at some of the more prominent ones. Zoom into about here. This is where I feel like you can clearly see it. So this spot here is lighter than everywhere else. It's like, just compare this color to the color right next to it. You can see that this color is a little bit darker. And you can see that this color even, and over here, is a little bit darker still. Then we have a shadow right here, and another shadow right here. And then there's kind of some, I don't know, kind of bluish color around the edges, and then it transitions into this nice red color. So, lots of little colors to pay attention to. And I'm just trying to find the correct arrangement for them. That's all. Fortunately, this light spot is pretty easy to control. I just have that one vertex in the center handling the entire thing. So I may not have perfect control over it, but I have enough. And oh man, my brain is reaching the point where it's like, oh god, what was I doing again? I don't remember. It's okay, it's just the insomnia talking. I'm hoping that some food and a little bit of caffeine will help perk me up a little bit. So that this way, hopefully I can do more drawing instead of just needing to pass out the couch for an hour. I never like doing that, but sometimes I gotta. If I can't do anything, I can't do anything. Might as well sleep. I'd say it's fine, but I don't actually really feel like it's fine. It's terrible. But I can deal with it. I suppose the distinction is important. Well, let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with this little corner of the highlight here. It's just hard to control because it's also controlling the very edge of this highlight here. The one that It's a much larger hair strand and just goes all the way up and down. Well, it looks like it worked out. Cool. I was afraid it wouldn't, but no, it is actually shaped like that. Alright, I think that's pretty much this highlight looking the way I want it. I was going to move on to this strand here, but I think actually before I do that, I want to make sure that the kind of purple color here and the transition is all looking the way I want. Because I've been feeling like it's all just getting a little bit compressed through all of there, and I don't think it looks very good. So I just want to push everything down just a little bit here. This might be a job for my future self, though. Because, oh boy, am I getting tired. I would like to continue to the end of my normal session time, though. It's only about 4 minutes. I can do it. This is another case where there's deceptively many colors. Like you can see, there's one color here, there's one color here, there's the color here, which is a little bit different from the color here, and then there's the color over here and over here. So, lots and lots of colors. Lots and lots of little things to pay attention to. And that's ultimately what makes rigging these bangs a little bit tricky. There's a lot going on here. And I need to be the one to figure out where it all goes. Kind of the same with this white area in front here. A highly deceptive amount of colors. There's quite a lot. Yeah, I think that's looking a bit better. Maybe still a few things here and there to fix up, but I got the worst of it out there, so that makes me happy. Still want to do a little bit more with this lighter area sitting right below the highlight. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Let me check the diagonal, because I haven't done that this entire time. Okay, the diagonal is telling me we got a little spot over here. It's a little bit too high up. Gotta push it back down. Like right over here. Something like that. There wasn't a lot wrong with it, but it was enough to be noticeable, so I would definitely want to fix it up since it's on the front bang, and the front bang is serious business. Okay, but otherwise I think it's all looking pretty good. And I am very sleepy today, so I do think I will stop here for today. We'll worry about more front baying tomorrow. So thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative projects, whether that be art, writing, coding, game design, or any creative pursuit you can think of, feel free to message or at me on the social media platform of your choice. I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.